So, do you guys want to tell me who you are and what you're doing?
Sure. My name is Becker, and I'm the Chief Experience Officer here at buuteeq. I have with me...
I'm Feary, and I'm the Senior Product Designer.
So we just wanted to chat a little bit today about what we do here in our design group, our user experience group. So we'll take a little walk around and see what some people are working on, and maybe surprise them playing solitaire. I don't know. But Ali, tell me a little bit about your background.
I've been with buuteeq going on 9 months, and before that I had worked with a media company that focused on poker. But prior to that, I was my longest career stint has been with K2 Sports, and I worked with various snowboard and ski brands and other outdoor gear, and managed the website marketing for all those brands and made sure everybody looked good.
There's kind of a thread of danger and excitement in there too, I noticed. So
on the edge.
That's what drew you to buuteeq, I think.
Right.
Or the orange. It might have been the orange couch. So I'll introduce myself a little bit more in just a second. I have some visual aids which are helpful. So why don't we take a little walk and let's go visit everybody.
Sounds good. Lead on.
What do you have picked out here?
Let's see. Over the past few months, we've really been focused on upgrading our design system to make it easier for users to create a agency quality site with very little design skills themselves, but we tried to create a starting point from which they can customize and build, integrate their content into a beautiful web setting and publish it to multiple surfaces quickly and easily. So actually, this is one of our banner clients we've been working on, and this is not one of the themes that they wanted to use, but we can quickly change between themes and show them the variety that they can achieve with just a few changes in the back office. And this is one of our circle themes. That's something that might suit the personality of a high-end whimsical property, showcase their information in a
no matter what, you just can't.
easy to look good, to be cool.
And to work well.
To work well, that's the main thing. It can look good, but if it doesn't work well, then it's not very much use to anybody.
For a hotel website, they're wanting people to come to see what's unique and special about your property, what makes it different, what makes it appealing to people, how will it meet their needs, are they going to be comfortable, are they going to be happy, and then the site should help convert them, should help them book a room, book a stay there, and so we look very carefully at all the metrics behind these and see what works and what doesn't work. And we have thousands of customers, and so we look at the data and you can see what trends emerge and what seems to be more useful, more usable, and more aesthetically pleasing to their customers as well. So we think not just about our customers, but our customers' customers. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes the whole ecosystem work in the travel industry, is the consumers. And then we're also consumers, so it's like this weird food circle where we're the top and the bottom. So let's go look. Thank you very much, Ali. And I see you've got the 3 systems set up here. Well, you have two different systems and a laptop. Why don't you tell us what that's about?
Yes, I focus primarily on design, but also work on the front-end implementation. It's definitely important to understand how the designs will play out in different browsers and with our actual data, because again, you can create a picture of something that looks really nice, but if it doesn't actually work with the information architecture and the actual data, then it's pretty useless. So,
and you have a Mac and a PC both for testing?
Yes.
Which is
good.
Yes,
very important to make sure it's...
Let's walk around and I'll narrate. This is Andrew. Andrew is working on coding the different sites, and just like Ali, he's checking that everything works well in all the different browsers. So with web technology and browser technology. The browsers have a lot of incompatibilities, especially the legacy browsers and especially older Internet Explorer. And so we have to do a lot of work and a lot of checking to get everything to work well. We also look at mobile devices, so smartphones, iPhones, Android, iPads, those sort of things. A lot of properties either use Flash or they're using outdated coding standards, and so their websites and other marketing doesn't work well on all those devices. And more people are coming to properties and booking vacations and doing last-minute walk-ins using smart devices. So it's really important. So Andrew's doing a lot of work there on the coding and testing of that. Here we have Kristen. Kristen's working on some of the icon sets that we use. One of the ideas that we have with the new branding and design system, which we're tentatively calling the Design Concierge, is that it helps suggest design to you. So it's a good juxtaposition between having professional design but giving you control. So the system suggests a lot of things to you based on the personality that you want your property to portray to people. And so we have some different icon sets and buttons and styles and things and fontography that kind of help project the image that your property wants to portray. So it's less about our design and our websites and our UI and more about your property, but there is some minimal iconography and other graphical elements that we add. So when we do these things, we think a lot about the impact that it's going to have on our customers and our customers' customers. And we actually think about a lot of crazy stuff just so that we get it right, and stuff that we want to work well for everyone. So looking here, this is actually a little shot from my recent Trotamundo trip to Italy, and we'll save that for another time. You can see a little tiny airplane in the background. That was an accident. So one of the things that that Ali does a lot is like when we were looking at fonts, we were making sure that these fonts would work well across all the browsers. And so when we were adding different web fonts to the system, we wanted to use web fonts because we wanted the fonts to render the same everywhere, as many places as possible. And so when you use web fonts, that happens. When you use the traditional way of doing it, different people on Mac, PC, phones are getting different fonts. So your website actually has a different flavor or personality. When you use a web font, then it's the same everywhere. And so we've moved to using a lot of web fonts in our new system that's coming out. And we go through and look at the differences in rendering on different browsers and different operating systems to see, kind of confirm whether a font is uniformly good everywhere. Some of them don't work very well in some places. So if you just go in there and you say, hey, I like this font, and you pick it, there's all kinds of issues that you can have if it really hasn't been vetted by somebody. So you might render really poorly on certain browsers. It might be that that's the stroke width, the kind of X height is too low to be readable. There's a lot of things that go into thinking about that. Another thing is the color of the font and the contrast with the background. So when we look at color models, for instance, we've spent a lot of time on color and thinking through the best ways to represent color and what's the system that we have for color and that we can trust it. And computers work with RGB, red, green, blue, and so every color is basically composed of red, green, and blue components. And so if a color is orange, it's not really orange to a computer, it's, you know, red, green, and blue, certain mixes of that. So people have moved to what they call an HSB or HSV or HSI or HSL model, which is hue, saturation, and brightness or lightness. So in this model, hue is the color in the rainbow, what humans normally think of as color, like red, green, blue, or reddish yellow, reddish green, no such thing. Saturation is how faded, how pastel, or how dull the color is versus how saturated or vivid the color is. And brightness is how bright or dark the color is. So this corresponds more to how humans think about color, and so you can represent color in more significant ways. The problem is that HSB is a really flawed model. So most designers and most design is done in either RGB, CMYK, which is just print only, or in HSB. But the problem is they're all fundamentally flawed. So if you look at HSB, here's a quiz for you. Look at these three colors. Which color is the brightest color? What do you think, Brandon?
That's a really good question.
White, cyan, or blue? Which one's the brightest?
Brightest?
Yeah.
Like giving off the most light?
Right. Which one's the brightest color?
I'm going to go with that bluish purplish color at the bottom.
The bluish purplish color at the bottom. Okay. So the reality is that theoretically white should be the brightest color, right? It's all colors. The trick is that in the HSB model, all three of these colors are 100% brightness.
Gotcha. So they have equal brightness, regardless
yes.
of the tint.
Right. And of course, to the human eye, they do not. They absolutely do not. So you have a flawed color model that doesn't correspond to the way humans see things. And at the end of the day, as we mentioned, it's really about the customers who all happen to be human in the year 2012. And so maybe if this was a dog hotel, we might have a different color model for dogs, but even if it was a dog hotel, they don't usually use the browsers, except for the really funny ones on YouTube. So these three colors, white looks the brightest, but they're really all completely identical. When you look over here, the difference in saturation between this color and this color is the same mathematically in the HSB model as between this color and this color. This color and this color have a saturation difference of 100% to 48%. This one's 100% to 48%. So it's the same difference in saturation, but you'll notice that that these colors look a lot more similar than these colors. So there's a bunch of flaws in this model. So it's kind of the everything you know about color is wrong, even for professional designers. A lot of times. Now fundamentally at the end of the day, a professional designer will be able to compensate for this just by instinctively eyeballing things and working and saying, it doesn't work that way. But when you're trying to work with, we have many customers, and when you really want things to work consistently, then you have to be smarter about that. So we have a lot more sophisticated color colors. There's a more sophisticated color space that we use, and we do some pretty good calculations in the back end, so that actually the way the color is treated in our system is more corresponding to the way that humans see and process color. So let's see, what was I going to say about all that?
Well, of everything that you've shown us today and that your team is currently working on, what are you most excited about soon delivering to the hotel owner or the innkeeper?
So we've done a ton of homework on color and topography and layout, conversion, SEO. So what I'm always excited about is shipping stuff, as we say in the industry. So I like to get it out the door, and I'm very excited about all of this that we've been talking about, basically getting deployed, getting out there, people using it, customers, potential guests finding this, booking rooms, and then the hoteliers and innkeepers and B&B owners making more money and being successful. So I get really excited in, you think of something, you conceive of it, you create it, you get it out there, and then it helps somebody, and then you've come full circle. So that's very exciting, I think.